Good evening, and welcome to the first Visiting Writers Series presentation of the year, and also the first Visiting Writers Series presentation in this space. It is my great pleasure to introduce to you tonight Terrance Hayes, the author of Wind in a Box, Hip Logic, and Muscular Music. Terrance is not only the winner of a Cape Tufts Discovery Award, a National Poetry Series Award, a Whittling Writers Award, a Pushcart Prize, a Best American Poetry Selection, and a National Endowment for the Arts Fellowship. He is also a poet with an incredible amount of heart. And I also learned tonight he's a great storyteller. His poetry melts music into message with subtle mastery and innovative rhythms that balance confidence with tenderness and violence with song. Terrance writes through a spectrum of voices and meters that bridge artists of old with celebrities of today, reflecting a vast world of influences and a careful attention to detail that vacillates between innovation and honesty. His poems read like rhapsodies, like mixtapes, and like old memories of that which cannot be pinned down except through the astute command of language. It is my honor to present to you tonight Terrance Hayes.
All right, thank you for that introduction. I usually only half listen, and I was thinking, oh, right, she's actually saying something nice. Usually, it's not worthwhile to hear those people talking. Jeff, it is so good to be here. Jen, it's good to see everyone. Julian, somewhere. Yeah, I already feel like, it's a second home because family's here. And connected to that, I should say this, just in case it turns out to be a terrible reading. I just thought, Jeff, Dr. Thompson is a very honest and astute listener, someone I really trust. So I really just wanted to kind of try out these new poems. Some of these poems are like really world premieres, If they're good, maybe I'll let them walk out into the world. And if they're bad, well, they'll be here. They've been recorded. I thought I would start out. I usually kind of end with these poems, but I actually hadn't even thought about what to look at in the books because I'm so curious about how these things sound in the air. So this one is called Fish Head, I think, and you can let me know if you hate the titles too, and I can change it. Fish Head. The mouth is where the dead who are not dead do not dream. A house of damaged translations, married to distraction. As in a bucket left in a storm, a choir singing in the rain like fish acquiring air underwater. Prayer and sin the body performs to know it is alive, lit from the inside by reckoning. As in a city which is no longer a city. The tongue reaching down a tunnel and the teeth wet as windows set along a freeway where the dead live in the noise of their shotgun houses. They drift from their wards like fish spreading thin as a song diminished by its own opening. Split by faith and soaked in it, the mouth is a flooded machine. So I think that's like a Katrina poem. It might not be though. See, this poem is really long. I don't know if I should read this long. Okay, I'll read this out. Bullet Head. Guys, we've got company, the soul mutters the moment before the slang of gunshots. And if sweat jewels the brow before braggadocio jumps from the skin, blood thrusting it out of a feverish gasp. The wish for something worth holding between the hands turned up to heaven. If that happens, you must be my grandfather at the moment of an ambush one morning in Vietnam's Ia Drang Valley. Because in the moment before death, none of the moments before that, you realize, bore the same risk. A naked towel turned up to heaven on the bed with the same sprawl of softness as the woman upon it, you realize in the moment preceding the moment of death did not represent the texture of death. It is the broth of a spasm, the fever of gasping, the moment of death. It is the fitful woman holding you to earth as the seed leaves your body. Even a boy with no father carries in him the image of his father. And it must be abstract as dream, pure theory, the moment of death. If you are good, and even if you are not good, The bullet enters the blood like the bony finger of the God who put it there, and the future scampers down to cover you. Granddaddy, when my father tries to recall your face, there is nothing beyond gun smoke coaxing our history from his breath. Let's see here. Y'all so quiet. It's very easy for me to be unsettled by these things, but some of them are funny, so we'll get to these funny poems here. How about one more kind of serious one? This one is Snow and Bottles for Wallace Stevens. No one living a snowed-in life can sleep without a blindfold. Light is the lion that comes down to drink. I know tink and tank and tunk-a-tunk-tunk holds nearly the same sound as a blue bottle of moonshine. Drink and drank and drunk a drunk. Light is the lion that comes down. This song is for the wise man who avenges by building his city in snow. I know what he said about the decorations over the graves of our dead, nigger. How, with pipes of cold water lining his cognition, does one learn to bring a sentence to its knees? Who is not more than his limitations? Who is not the blood in a wine barrel, the molten glass pressed into a mold as well? The man who invented the bottle slept on the bank of a frozen river the night before. I, too, having lost faith in language, have placed my faith in language. Thus, I have a capacity for love without forgiveness. This song is for my foe, the clean-shaven, gray-suited, gray patron of Hartford, the emperor of ice shavings and bottles bodied with echoes. All right, let's see here, just a couple more of these. So 1, 2. Our best patent, this is kind of different, our best patent performer. So you can imagine, like, you just got this job at this strange New World amusement park, and your job is to go around in the body of General Patton. And I'm your boss. As General Patton, you will be expected to give his D-Day speech to park audiences twice a day. To fit in the costume, you will have to eat nothing but haggis, a Scottish dish consisting of a mixture of minced heart, lungs, and liver of a sheep, seasoned with onions, oatmeal, and boiled in the stomach of a slaughtered animal. It may be that visitors love our General Patton best because of the huge, mightily polished helmet bobbing on a head twice the size of the body. Notice the cut of his riding pants, the angle of his cavalry boots. Boys love the nickel-plated Colt 45 and the .357 Magnum our old blood and guts pretends to fire at them. Fathers love the shimmer of his 24 medals. The general's swagger will become second nature to you. Carrying such an enormous head, your body will seem drunk on patriotism, which is appropriate since Patton walked funny. He walked like a man who disliked humor. He was very self-conscious and believed his high-pitched voice made soldiers think of their grandmothers. Patton was not a singer because of his overbite. We can no more understand a Russian than a Chinese or a Japanese, and from what I have seen of them, I have no particular desire to understand them except to ascertain how much lead or iron it takes to kill them, Patton liked to say. People of all creeds are welcomed here, of course. You may be shocked to know that our best Patton performer ever was a thin Asian girl. Herodotus, the 5th century BC Greek historian who loved tales of battle, foresaw Patton's death in a dream. The 2.5-ton truck mashing his Cadillac outside Mannheim in 1945, the clouds warbled, old blood and guts paralyzed from the neck down and covered in rain. I have seen his big head left like a broken sarcophagus outside the break room by spineless performers. Herodotus noted that early sarcophagi, the plural, were carved from a special kind of rock that consumed the flesh of the corpse inside. This should give you a sense of what it will mean to spend your days in the head of Patton. His favorite animal was the armadillo. He called Robert E. Lee Jesus. He fell in love with Dwight Eisenhower between 1935 and 1940. Distrustful of civilians, Patton measured everything according to the shaft of his weapon. His word for penis was tank. His motto was lead me, follow me, or get the hell out of my way. Okay, two more from this, and then maybe another one if I get nervous and at the end or something weird. But right now, these are the last two kind of poems that have never seen the world. Although these last two, I've read them out once or twice. Lighthead's Guide to Addiction. And if you are addicted to sleep, a bay of fresh coffee may help. If you are addicted to coffee, teach yourself to break dance. If you are addicted to dancing, polio will cure you. If you hear that the last black man alive will be burned at sunset, find an underground railroad. If you are addicted to railroads, try wearing undersized shoes. No one knows where your mother has gone with her tax refund. If you are addicted to shoes, move to a provincial village in Japan. If you are addicted to Japan, try eating with no teeth. If you are addicted to teeth, visit the wife-beater's widow. She will be upstairs awaiting your caress. I often wake up horny. If you are addicted to masturbation, seek company. If you are addicted to company, try starlight and silence. If you are addicted to silence, find guard dogs, traffic, or infants. If you are addicted to infants, try reliable contraception. Or try asking yourself, what's wrong with me? If you are addicted to contraception, try recklessness. Try riding an unsaddled horse until you are thrown into a bed of gravel. If you are addicted to recklessness, try a spoon-fed disease. My mother loves imagining the day she'll die. If you are addicted to disease, visit an old world doctor. If you are addicted to doctors, try war. If you are addicted to sorrow, all my talk about loss is not lost to you. No one knows why your father built a shed for his weapons, probably some hellified form of addiction. If you are addicted to weapons, please find the people who plan to burn the last black man alive at sunset for me. Or try learning a little history, idiot. Obviously, I'm addicted to repetition, which is a form of history. If you are addicted to history, try a blindfold of razors, or buy a Cadillac. If you are addicted to Cadillacs, try poverty. No one is addicted to poverty. But if you are, try wealth. If you are addicted to wealth, you need money. If you are addicted to money, you need money. Try that. Let me see here. Okay, here's one. Here's the last one I read from these newer poems. This one's called The House Is Not a Home, which it's like a Luther Vandross title. Y'all know about Luther Vandross in Maine. Somebody else might have done it first, but it was, that's how I know it. Okay, and this is again, kind of a narrative. These, like I said, the last one's a little different. The house is not a home. It was the night I embraced Ron's wife a bit too long because he refused to kiss me goodbye that I realized the essential nature of sound. When she slapped me across one ear and he punched me in the other, I recalled almost instantly the purr of liquor sliding along the neck of the bottle a few hours earlier as the three of us took turns imitating the croon of the recently deceased Luther Vandross. I decided then, even as my ears fattened, to seek employment at the African American Acoustic and Audiological Accident Insurance Institute, where probably there is a whole file devoted to Luther Vandross. And probably it contains the phone call he made once to ask a niece the whereabouts of his first piano. I already know there is a difference between hearing and listening, but to get the job, I bet I will have to learn how to transcribe church fires or how to categorize the dozen or so variations of gasping, one of which likely includes Ron and me in the 8th grade, the time a neighbor flashed her breasts at us. That night at Ron's house, I believed he, his wife, and Luther loved me more than anything I could grasp. I can't believe you won't kiss me. You're the gayest man I know, I said to Ron just before shackling my arms around his wife. My job is all about context, I will tell friends when they ask. I love it, though most days all I do is root through noise like a termite with a number on his back. What will I steal? Rain falling on a picket sign. Breathy epithets. You think I'm bullshitting. When you have no music, everything becomes a form of music. I bet somewhere in Mississippi there is a skull that only a sharecropper's daughter can make sing. I'll steal that sound. More than anything, I want to work at the African American Acoustic and Audiological Accident Insurance Institute so that I can record the rumors and raucous rhythms of my people, our jangled history, the slander in our sugar, the ardor in our anger, a subcategory of which probably includes the sound particular to one returning to his feet after a friend has knocked him down. That's like an apology point, because you know, sadly, most of that is true. He didn't hit me though, but he should have, so I thought, well, because I did, I was too drunk. I don't get drunk that much though, you know. I've only been drunk once or twice, and both times were bad. Let me see here. So, okay, I got those out of the way, and I'll think about it. I'll wait to hear later. I forgot that Danny asked me to read something. I'll end up with the Hip Logic poem, which is really not what I would do. So, okay, so I'm going to read a couple from Wind in the Box. Let's see here. So, you know, I have these blue poems in it, and Jeff asked me to read the Blue Baraka. And so this is in the voice of Mary Burke. You know, I read this poem. I read it at Lincoln Center in August. And this is like the second time that Mary Baraka has upstaged me. You know, the last time he like brought on some politician dude and he talked for like an hour. He was supposed to have 20 minutes each, so I didn't get to read. This time, he was supposed to go, actually he was supposed to read on Saturday and he forgot. So then he shows up on Sunday. Then he's supposed to go after me because I have to catch a plane. And then he says he's gonna go before me. And then we've had sushi together, but he never remembers me. So he goes and he comes down the stand, he's like this tall. And I'm saying, hey man, I got a poem for you. I want you to hear it, I want you to hear it. He's like, okay. So it's the Blue Baraka. We go way back, America, like mutts in the bed of a pickup, like righteous indignations, like riotous ignitions, like far right-wing indicators blinking white and black, white and black, white and black. They don't share our values, you say. I gave you my life, you gave me my life, America. Some of us fog up the grapes and some of us vomit money. Some of us bad boys, some of us Leroy, some of us Charlie, 2 Browns too. Some of us black-eyed, brown-eyed idlers. Some of us be best friends or fried fiends, but all of us be floundering interiors, be all these things at once, America. Why you be? Why you be decked in suits of metal, indefatigable, empty, fat, inflatable, laughable, and lost? Why you be funkying up the holy waters and memorizing the same biblical bullshit? He shall separate us one from the other, as a shepherd divideth his sheep, you say. He shall divide up the chain from the gang, divide up the pepper from the pepper spray, you say. You say they don't share our values. America, how you talk with such little lips? How you sleep with such little rhythm? How you live with such little music? You be your own ship at sea. You be your own shadow off course. The last hour, the shroud of transgressions. You be a white, blue, and ready-made utopia for some. You be overcooked and crooked, a scythe of bite marks, an odor of orders for others. So, you know, I read it, and I was like looking for him in the audience, and I think he was like signing somebody. He's trying to pick some girl up. That'd be really crude to say. He wasn't trying to pick a girl up. He's older than sexuality at this point. But he wasn't paying attention. That's my point. So I just decided, you know, you guys know how I care about him. Let me see here. So you know that a lot of these poems are in the voices of, you know, people I'm kind of curious in, although, you know, some of them are in my voice, so I'm curious about me too. I'll read another one. This is in the voice of Dr. Seuss. And, you know, I mean, it comes from, I guess, having kids and absorbing the rhythms of the world around us. So it's just Dr. Seuss, and of course it's me, because, you know, all I think about is race and sex. That's subject to my poems. So it's Dr. Seuss thinking about, black people. The blue suits. Blacks in one box, blacks in two box, blacks on black, stacked in boxes, stacked on boxes, blacks in boxes stacked on shores, blacks in boxes stacked on boats in darkness, blacks in boxes do not float, blacks in boxes count their losses. Blacks on boat docks, blacks on auction, blacks on wagons, blacks with masters in the houses, blacks with bosses in the fields, blacks in helmets toting rifles, blacks in Harlem toting banjos, boots and quilts, blacks on foot, blacks on buses, blacks on backwood, hardwood stages singing blues, blacks on Broadway singing too. Blacks can Charleston, blacks can foxtrot, blacks can bebop, blacks can moonwalk, blacks can beatbox, blacks can run fast too. Blacks on blacks and blacks on knees and blacks on couches, blacks on good times, blacks on roofs, blacks on Cosby, blacks in voting booths are blacks in boxes. Blacks beside blacks in rows of houses are blacks in boxes too. So yeah, how about I read one of these? The blue Terrances. Let's see. Here's one, blue Terrance. If you subtract the minor losses, you can return to your childhood too. The blackboard chalked with crosses, the math teacher's toe ring. You can be the black boy not even the buck-toothed girls took a liking to. This matchbox, these bones in their funk machine, this thumb worn smooth as the belly of a shovel. Thump, thump, thump. Everything I hold takes root. I remember what the world was like before I heard the tide humping the shore smooth, and the lyrics asking, how long has your door been closed? I remember a garter belt wrung like a snake around a thigh in the shadows of a wedding gown, before it was flung out into the bluest part of the night. Suppose you were nothing but a song in a busted speaker. Suppose you had to wipe sweat from the brow of a righteous woman, but all you owned was a dirty rag. That's why the blues will never go out of fashion. Their half-rotten aroma, their bloodshot octaves of consequence. That's why when they call, boy, you're in trouble. Especially if you love as I love, falling to earth. Especially if you're a little bit high-strung and a little bit gutted balloon. I love watching the sky regret nothing but itself, though only my lover knows it to be so, and only after watching me sit and stare off past heaven. I love the word no for its prudence, but I love the romantic who submits finally to sex in a burning row house more. That's why nothing's more romantic than working your teeth through the muscle. Nothing's more romantic than the way good love can take leave of you. That's why I'm so doggone lonesome, baby. Yes, I'm lonesome and I'm blue. Just a few more. I didn't keep track of, I assume you guys wanted me to read for like 6 hours, but unfortunately tonight I did not come prepared to read for 6 hours. I'll read a few more, and then I'll finish up with, I guess, some stuff here and there. Some of these non-blue poems, where are those poems? Okay. This poem, The Whale, for my cousin Purvis, who, said I should write a poem for him. He asked me to write a poem for him. So, and he's like a smart aleck. So I wrote this poem for him. The Whale. Just like that, your father's dead. Half of all the footsteps you've made in your lifetime swept away by the tide, gnawing the shore. The bits of shells like fragments of bone and teeth sinking into the sand beneath you as you walk toward the people crowding the body of a young whale. A boy on the shoulders of his father. A woman slipping film into a camera. The skin peeling on a lifeguard's neck as he stoops, peering into the animal's eye, saying nothing. The audience silent or silenced by the sound of salt water sweet-talking the shore, as if sweet-talking the earth from her prom dress. The tide stroking its hands along her inner thigh and finding the crop of razor bumps, like the humped tiny backs of shells, and smiling at the thought of the girl preparing for her prom date, the hair lathered and shaved away, the air leaving ripples inside the dress as the knee-high hem is lifted above the girl's waist and breast, the sound of the silk passing over her body like the sound of the tide uncovering and then covering the hard news of the day, the news returning each time it's washed away. So, I gave him the book, and I said, there's something in there for you. And then, clearly he didn't read it, because it was only like maybe 6 months later he called me, and he was like, man, I read that fucking poem. Give me a call. So I didn't call him back, though. What can I tell him, It's for you somehow. Let me see here. Where's this little earth poem here? So I can spend time just like flipping back and forth through the book. Let me see now. It's like the poems in there. Oh, here we go. So this is one of the poems. It's Broken Earth, and it's from a black cinema old movie from 1939. The movie's just about 11 minutes long. And so it's just kind of like in the voice of the boy that's in that movie. Broken Earth. I am the sick boy in the shack when the camera opens on the sunrise and wispy silhouettes of the plow and the fool mule and my father working a row down the middle of a rock field with a small shack in one corner and a shade tree in the other, where a crew of barefoot old black men stoop and sing All God's Chillin' Wear Shoes and call out hey and hi in the name of my father, who goes on plowing into sundown, into the dark hour when the mule will grunt no farther, and the red eyes of the black men's cigarettes blaze and flicker in one corner of the field as I quiver in a wet skin in the hot small light of the lantern blazing and flickering in the shack. I am a sick boy. I am still as a kettle of water. I am waiting to be rearranged by the hand of God, which is not the hand of God, but the strip of cloth pressed against my brow by my father, who has no medicine but prayer. I don't know what I did to get here, mumbling Pappy and calling out to the ghost of my mother as the choir sings Swing Low, Sweet Chariot somewhere. I don't know who it is telling me to open my eyes. I think, like 2 more, I said I wasn't going to read the avocado one, but I'm like, I run out of time. Oh, you want to read that? Okay, this is the last one I read from this one, and then I'll read. Huh? And the same city. Okay, so 3 more. Wind in a Box, and this is just one. Technical difficulties. One of a couple of these Wind in a Box poems. I'm hot. Are y'all hot? Yes. It is a nice room. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna have to take my contact out. I think I can read it without it though. Okay, hold on. No, that's not gonna do it. I need new eyeballs. So. Okay, Wind in the Box after Lorca. I want to always sleep beneath a bright red blanket of leaves. I want to never wear a coat of ice. I want to learn to walk without blinking. I want to outlive the turtle and the turtle's father, the stone. I want a mouth full of permissions and a pink glistening bud. If the wildflower and anthill can return after sleeping each season, I want to walk out of this house wearing nothing but wind. I want to greet you. I want to wait for the bus with you, weighing less than a chill. I want to fight off the bolts of gray, lighting the alcoves and winding paths of your hair. I want to fight off the damp nudgings of snow. I want to fight off the wind. I want to be the wind, and I want to fight off the wind with its sagging banner of isolation, its swinging screen doors, its gilded boxes and neatly folded pamphlets of noise. I want to fight off the dull, straight lines of 2x4s and endings, your disapprovals, your doubts and regulations, your carbon copies. If the locust can abandon its suit, I want a brand new name. I want the pepper's fury and the salt's tenderness. I want the virtue of the evening rain, but not its questions. I want the moon's intuition, but not its questions. I want the malice of nothing on earth. I want to enter every room in a strange electrified city and find you there. I want your lips around the bell of flesh at the bottom of my ear. I want to be the mirror, but not the nightstand. I do not want to be the night switch. I do not want to be the yellow photograph or book of poems. When I leave this body, woman, I want to be pure flame. I want to be your song. Okay, so 2 more. Then I can cool down. These poems get you hot, man. Yeah, oh, no. It's the heat. Okay, let me see. I don't know what order I should do. See, now I shouldn't have said that I was going to read that avocado poem, because now I'm like ready just to sit down. And you guys can do something else tonight. Okay, all right. Well, maybe, okay, yeah, so I don't know which one of these to end on with. To end with, let's see. How about one that's kind of funny and one that's kind of serious? All right, here, I'll read the same city and then I'll end on the avocado. And this is the last book, the last poem in Hippologic. The same city. I guess I should say it's from my stepdad. The rain falling on a night in mid-December, I pull to my father's engine, wondering how long I'll remember this. His car is dead. He connects jumper cables to his battery, then to mine, without looking in at me and the child. Water beads on the windshields, the road sign, his thin blue coat. I'd get out now, prove I could stand with him in the cold, but he told me to stay with the infant. I wrap her in the blanket, staring for what seems like a long time into her open, toothless mouth, and I wish she was mine. I feed her an orange, softened first in my mouth, chewed gently until the juice runs down my fingers as I squeeze it into hers. What could any of this matter to another man passing on his way to his family? His radio deafening the sound of water and breathing along all the roads bound to his. But to rescue a soul is as close as anyone comes to God. Think of Noah lifting a small black bird from its nest. Think of Joseph raising a son that wasn't his. Let me begin again. I want to be holy. In rain, I pulled to my stepfather's car with my girlfriend's infant. She was pregnant when we met, but we'd make love. We'd make love below stars and shingles while the baby kicked in the world between us. Perhaps a man whose young child bears his face, whose wife waits as he drives home through rain and darkness, perhaps that man would call me a fool. So what? There is one thing I will remember all my life. It is as small and holy as the mouth of an infant. It is speechless. When his car would not stir, my father climbed in beside us, took the orange from my hand, took the baby in his arms. In 1974, this man met my mother for the first time as I cried or slept in the same city that holds us tonight. If you ever tell my story, say that's the year I was born. Okay, last one. I always carry a handkerchief. It comes from living in Japan. I don't know what handkerchiefs have to do with the Japanese, but for some reason they always have them. I'm sure it's coming in handy. All right, last poem. We didn't do too bad. The avocado, I guess it's self-explanatory. In 1971, drunk on the sweet, sweet juice of revolution, a crew of us marched into the president's office with a list of demands. The black man tells us at the February luncheon. And I'm pretending I have not heard this one before, as I eye black tortillas on a red plate beside a big green bowl of guacamole made from the whipped, battered remains of several harmless former avocados. If abolitionists had a flag, it would no doubt feature the avocado, also known as the alligator pear for obvious reasons. Number one, reparations. Enough gold to fill each of our women's wombs. Gold to nurse our warriors waiting to enter this world with bright fists. That's what we told them, Brother Man says. And now I'm thinking of the money-colored flesh of the avocado. High in monosaturates, its oil content is second only to olives. I am looking at my wife's caterpillar locks dangled over her ear. I dare you to find a lovelier black woman from Cincinnati where the North touches the South. 3, we wanted more boulevards named for the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., an airport named for Sojourner Truth. The roots of the avocado tree can raise pavement, so it's not too crazy to imagine the fruit as a symbol of revolt on the abolitionist flag. We are all one kind of abolitionist or another, no doubt. And we are like the avocado too, with its inedible ruby-colored seed that can actually sprout from the inside when the fruit is over-mature, causing internal molds and breakdown. Demand number 21, a Harriet Tubman statue on the mall. Brother Man is weeping now and walking wet tissue to the trash can, and he is saying, Harriet Tubman was a walking shadow. Or he is saying, Harriet Tubman walked in shadows. Or he is saying, to many, Harriet Tubman was a shadow to walk in. And the meaning is pureed flesh with lime juice, minced garlic, and chili powder. It is the salt and pepper Harriet Tubman tossed over her shoulder to trouble the bloodhounds. Many isolated avocado trees fail to fruit from lack of pollination. Goddamn, ain't you hungry? I whispered to my wife, and she puts a finger to my lips to distract me. Say, baby, wasn't that you waking me up last night to say you had a dream where I was a big, luscious, man-sized avocado? Someone's belly is growling. We weren't going to be colored. We weren't going to be Negro, the man says. And I'm thinking, every time I hear this story, it's the one telling the story that's the hero. Hush now, Harriet Tubman probably said near dawn, pointing a finger black enough to be her pistol barrel toward the future. Or pointing a pistol barrel black enough to be her finger at the mouth of some starved, stammering slave, and then lifting her head to listen for something that no one but her could hear. Thank you.